probably done it without noticing. Someone is telling you a story, and before they even finish, something in you tightens. Not because you caught a contradiction. Not because you saw hard evidence. Just a feeling. A pause that was a little too long. A smile that arrived too late. A detail that sounded polished instead of remembered. And for a second you think, are they lying? Now imagine that feeling 30,000 years ago. No texts. No cameras. No written records. No courtroom. No search history. Just a few dozen people, a fire, the dark beyond the camp, and a claim that might decide who gets fed, who gets trusted, who gets punished, or who gets left behind. He says he found nothing on the hunt. She says she didn't take the meat. He says the stranger approached first. She says the child wandered off on his own. In a world like that, a lie was never just a lie. It could be lost food, broken trust, revenge, exile, even death. So how did ancient humans decide who he had lied before, whether he was in conflict with someone, whether his children were suddenly eating better than everyone else. A lie is hardest to hide where life is shared. That may be the first real answer. Ancient humans often decided who was lying through context, memory, and reputation, not magical intuition. But there's an even deeper layer. Our minds do seem to have special sensitivity for a certain kind of deception. Not all rule-breaking. Not all mistakes. Not every broken promise. Specifically, cheating. Evolutionary psychologists have argued that humans are specially alert when someone takes a benefit without paying the cost, when they exploit cooperation on purpose. That makes sense. Cooperation only works if freeloaders can be noticed. If everyone shares food, takes turns watching for predators, helps raise children, or joins a hunt, then one habitual cheater can poison the whole system. So maybe ancient humans were not evolved to detect lies in general. Maybe we were shaped to notice something narrower and more important, who is taking without giving. That's why some lies feel more threatening than others. A false memory about the weather is one thing. A lie that steals status, food, loyalty, or protection is something else entirely. Our ancestors didn't need perfect lie detection. They needed cheat detection. And those are different machines. One asks, is this sentence true? The other asks, will this person cost us more than they give? That second question is older, sharper, more useful. It also explains why gossip mattered so much. Today gossip sounds petty. Anciently, gossip may have been part of the tribe's survival technology. In small-scale societies, reputation is a social map. Who is selfish? Who is brave? Who is reckless? Who neglects children? Who exaggerates? Who starts fights? Who stays calm when things go wrong? Recent anthropology and behavioral research still finds that gossip strongly shapes reputation, and reputation shapes who receives help, trust, and resources. So when ancient humans traded stories about each other, they were not just passing time. They were updating the tribe's operating system. Gossip is memory with consequences. That doesn't mean gossip was always true. Of course it wasn't. People can lie about other people too. But even that tells us something important. Ancient humans didn't solve deception by eliminating uncertainty. They solved it by making information social. Claims were cross-checked, repeated, challenged, and absorbed into a larger pattern. A single statement could deceive. A long reputation was harder to fake. And if someone kept manipulating that reputation, the group had options. Ridicule, distance, reduced sharing, public suspicion. In some societies, eventually expulsion. That last part matters more than it first appears. You think ancient justice was mostly about discovering the truth. But often it was about protecting the group when truth could not be known with certainty. That is a much older and darker idea. Because if you can't read minds, you don't build a world on certainty. You build it on risk management. Who do we trust with food? Who do we let near children? Who gets believed in a conflict? Who is too costly to keep around? Ancient humans were not solving philosophy. They were solving survival. And survival makes people practical. This is also why many old lie detection rituals look bizarre to us now. Chewing dry rice, watching someone shake, reading a pulse, swearing an oath before gods, carrying hot iron, reaching into boiling water. At first glance, these seem like absurd attempts to extract truth from the body, as if fear itself were proof of guilt. And sometimes that is exactly what they were. But hidden inside some of these rituals was another logic. In medieval ordeals, for example, the point may not have been that fire literally revealed guilt. The deeper function was to create a system where the guilty and innocent might sort themselves differently. If everyone believes divine judgment is real, the guilty may confess or avoid the ordeal, while the innocent may accept it. The ritual becomes less a truth machine than a pressure machine. That's a profound pattern in human history. When we can't know the truth directly, we build situations that force people to reveal themselves indirectly. Interrogations do this. Public oaths do this. Reputation systems do this. Even social media does this. We still create environments where people signal character under pressure, then we judge the signal. Human societies were built not on perfect truth, but on shared methods for handling doubt. And doubt is the real ancient subject here. Because there's a trap in all of this. If a group becomes too trusting, cheaters thrive. If it becomes too suspicious, the group tears itself apart. Cooperation dies either way. So ancient humans needed a balance. Enough trust to live together. Enough vigilance to avoid being exploited. Cognitive scientists call part of this epistemic vigilance. It's the mind's way of asking two ancient questions. Should I believe this source, and does this story fit what I know? Not blind trust. Not total distrust. Something more exhausting and more human. Calibration. And that maybe is what ancient humans were really doing around the fire. Not staring into each other's eyes, hunting for micro-expressions. Research today suggests those cues are wildly overrated anyway. Micro-expressions, nervous gestures, gaze aversion, most of the signs people swear by are weak, inconsistent, or misleading. Fear does not equal guilt. That was true then too. An innocent person accused in front of a group may shake more than the guilty one. A practiced liar may look calm. A frightened outsider may look deceptive simply because he's outnumbered. Which means ancient groups face the same danger we do, confusing anxiety with dishonesty. And that should make you uneasy, because modern life still runs on ancient shortcuts. We trust confidence over hesitation, even though confidence and accuracy often barely know each other. We think nervous people have something to hide. We assume smooth storytelling means truth, when sometimes it means rehearsal. We act as if deception leaks cleanly through the body, when often what leaks is stress, shame, low status, or fear of not being believed. In that sense, we are not as far from a campfire as we think. The technology's changed. The brain didn't change that much. You can see it in dating, in job interviews, in police interrogations, in politics. in group chats, in families. Someone tells a story, and what persuades us is rarely the story alone. It's the halo around the story, their status, their history, our loyalties, whether they are one of us, whether we want them to be innocent. This is the complication ancient humans understood better than we like to admit. Deciding who is lying is never just about truth. It's about belonging, power, fear, and the cost of being wrong. Believe a liar, and the group may suffer. Reject a truthful person, and the group may become cruel. That tension is ancient, maybe permanent, which means the real answer to the title is both simpler and more haunting than it first seemed. Ancient humans probably decided who was lying the way humans still mostly do, not by detecting lies directly, but by judging people through context, reputation, incentives, and group memory, by watching who benefited, who repeated patterns, who stayed coherent under scrutiny, and sometimes by inventing rituals that made uncertainty easier to live with. Not perfect truth, usable trust. And maybe that's the most revealing part of all. Because we like to imagine that civilization advanced by getting better and better at discovering what is true. But a lot of history suggests something more unsettling. We became social not because we solved deception, but because we learned how to survive without ever fully solving it. We built norms. We built gossip. We built oaths. We built courts. We built religions. We built science. We built platforms where millions of strangers speak at once. And still every day, you are doing some ancient version of the same thing. Listening, comparing, sensing, doubting, believing anyway. Maybe the oldest human question was never, is this true? Maybe it was, can I afford to trust this person? And if that is the real question, then the story of ancient lie detection isn't about primitive people trying to catch primitive lies. It's about the fragile miracle of human cooperation. A species that survives by communication is always one lie away from danger. A species that survives by trust is always one suspicion away from collapse. So the next time you feel that little tightening in your chest while someone is speaking, the question may not be whether your instincts are ancient. They are. The darker question is whether those instincts were designed to find truth, or simply to protect your place